I'd like to talk to you about the proper format for a sales rep resume, and this is a medical sales rep. We see so many, as a recruiting firm, we see so many resumes, and many of them are just not formatted properly, and more importantly, the content is not effective. So, and there's a different variety of formats you can use. I mean, here obviously you can see we have the address, city, state, cell number, home number, email address, the person's name, and this can be done in a variety of different ways. This is fine. Uh, Here, a lot of times you will see a summary here or an objective. Some people put that on their resumes. A summary could be, more. A summary of your experience, 20 years experience as a capital equipment sales rep selling to hospitals and reference labs, selling diagnostic, capital equipment to hospitals and reference labs, something along those lines. Uh, a lot of times you don't want to put seeking a certain job because then you may have to change it every time that you go after a different position. But this resume is formatted properly. This was a resume that we received from a candidate that we changed all the information on to keep it confidential. So it was a very good format. You can see, here, maybe what they should have done here when they started 2013, they probably should have put, if it was August or September, use the month and the year. Like here, April 2009 to August 2013. That's a perfect format. Instead of just using the year, hiring managers love to see the month and the year. So obviously, then the company goes over here. These companies are just fictitious companies. Um, the summary here, the key here is to tell everybody what this company does, what molecular diagnostics does, what their products are, and what you do for them. And basically, who do you call on? So for sales reps, the important thing is who do you call on, because hiring managers, when they're looking to hire somebody, they want to know what your points are and who you have relationships with. That is how you're going to get hired. So this is perfect. Account executive shows the territory: Kentucky, Southern Indiana, Southern Illinois, and Tennessee. Here, responsible for selling genetic testing for cancer diagnostics to pathologists and oncologists. So basically, this says, hey, this is what the person's doing. They're selling genetic testing and cancer diagnostics to pathologists and oncologists. So this person has relationships with pathologists and oncologists. And the bullet points here, this is where we see a lot of people make mistakes. This candidate did not. They had a perfect resume. Many candidates here will put what they do. They will put on here more description about what they do. And it's just not proper. For a sales resume, it's got to be hard hitting, it's got to have results, it's got to have numbers. That's all a sales manager or recruiter is going to look at. They're going to scan this resume quickly. If they don't see any numbers, then they're not going to look at your resume. So you can see here, grew territory 300% in first full year. Account Executive of the Quarter, largest growth award. First Account Executive achieved President's Club. Number one Account Executive for 9 months. Those things are perfect. Then we drop down to the next job. There again, the month and the year, perfect format. People want to know if there's gaps. So if this was November, December 2013, then the hiring managers are going to look and say, well, what happened? And so just remember that resumes are used to eliminate you, not to hire you. And the more questions you leave unanswered in your resume, the less likely you're going to get interviewed. Your resume will be tossed. So this is good. April through August 2013. There again, here's the name of a company, fictitious company. There again, this person says, hey, this is my territory, which is important, because when they hire sales reps, they want to know, do you know the prospects in that area? And then here again, consultative sales professional for immunohistochemistry equipment and reagents sold to hospitals and reference labs. So this gentleman says, hey, I sell capital equipment and reagents, and I sell them to hospitals and reference labs. So I have relationships with hospitals and reference labs, and I know how to sell capital equipment and reagents. That's all you have to say. I mean, but you do want to say, you do want to accomplish that in the first line after the company. Then the rest, just like this gentleman has here, and it can be in chronological order. But you can see, started off 107% to plan. I won't get through all this, but you can see number one performing territory sales manager in the Midwest. Number 6 out of 34. This is a perfect format. You want to put the number of people. 6 out of 34 tells you how well the person did. Number one performing, that could have been a little bit different. That could have been number one performing out of 50 TSMs in the Midwest region. That would have sounded powerful. You've got to, when you write this, don't assume the other person reading your resume is going to know all this information. So you got to spell it out. So that's fine. I mean, this is a better format, 6 out of 34, and so you can see, the person obviously is a great performer as well. Here's another, nice long tenure, formatted, properly. There again, account sales consultant, sales of clinical diagnostics instruments and reagents. So this person sells capital equipment and reagents, and so that's typically sold into hospitals and to reference labs. That probably you could have stated that here. Sales of clinical diagnostics instruments and reagents to hospitals and reference labs might have been a little bit more effective. So anyway, that's a good summary. And then obviously you hear you have the here you have the results, and there's these are just awesome results. I mean, always exceeding plan, and then took a little bit more time here to describe their accomplishments, which is awesome. Inner Circle Hawaiian trip, and you can see year after year consistent performance. This gentleman also says, it describes what Inner Circle is. Sometimes people put on there the name of their company's trip. It's President's Circle, Inner Circle, all kind of different names, but what does that mean? So this person tells you, hey, I was in the top 10% out of 100 reps. So he was in the top 10 every year, just about. So anyway, you look through here, it's just, these are results. These are all winner of full set Golden Eagle coins. One trip to Super Bowl for selling 19 access systems. Number one in reagent sales, a recognition of spectacular reagent growth. So all these are results. It has nothing to do with what they do. It's just results. And that's what sales managers and recruiters want to see. Then obviously here they have the year they graduated, which I highly recommend to put the year that you graduated. Don't try to hide your age. Not a smart thing to do. Because they're going to find out how old you are eventually. Here, the degree, the GPA, very significant, and I like the color here. It highlights this area. Worked 3 jobs while in school and paid 100% of schooling costs, and then additional training. So this is an example of a resume that is very well done, focusing on results and giving a little summary of what they do. So I'm going to show you real quick a resume that is not as well done as this one, and mainly because it is oops. Yeah, I want to show you an example of a resume that is not effective. This one is, they're using the bullet points basically to describe what they do. So let's just look at this. Account executive, which is usually a sales rep, ABC printing. Alright, so here what I would do is use a format we had in the past where you would put, ABC printing is a regional printing company, been in business for 50 years, serving restaurant industry or whatever, and then covered the Pittsburgh, West Virginia region, uh, calling on restaurants in the area. Something like that, just a summary, but not bullet points. And so a summary of, because it's reading this, I don't know what ABC printing does. I don't know what territory this person covers. It just goes into these bullet points and see prospected and generated sales leads to grow client base and increase market share. That is a given. You are a sales rep. Do not put this stuff in your resume. That is, sales managers would chunk this resume in a heartbeat because all it does is describe what you do. Well, people know as a sales rep what you do is you're supposed to sell product. If you sell product, you should have results on your resume, and there's no results in this resume. Interface with client executives to propose and implement solutions that allows clients to connect with target markets. Of course, that's what you should do. But did you do it? Did you have any results? I mean, how did you compare to your peers? I mean, how did you do against your quota? So this is an example. I see a lot of this. This will get your resume. This will get you eliminated from a job very quickly. So just go back to the first example that I showed you. Use that. That is the way to document your success, is with results. I hope this helps. If you need our help in creating a resume, we do have a tool that we've created that will keep you from making mistakes like this. And so at the very bottom of the page, I will give you the link to go to that so you can see the tool that could help you create an effective resume. I hope this helps.